We've had some preview of these two orders, and I'd like to talk about them some. First, the one that's going to review country by country possible unfair trade practices. Is that based largely on the question of a trade deficit with those countries?
That's correct, David. There's about 16 countries with which we have significant trade deficits. And the bigger picture here is that the United States is the freest trader in the world. Let's be clear about that. On balance, we have the lowest tariffs. We have the lowest non-tariff barriers, yet we have the largest trade deficit. And these deficits are causing job loss. They're causing our factories to move offshore. They're a reflection of that. And so historically, what's going to happen with this omnibus investigation into trade abuses is that the Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, with the U.S. Trade Representative, are going to take a comprehensive look at all of the different ways that trade deficit might be happening in the trade space. We're going to look at differential tariffs, non-tariff barriers, things like forced technology transfer, all of these things. And in 90 days, Wilbur Ross is going to deliver a report to the desk of the President, and the information in that report will basically be the foundation which will guide our future trade policy. Right. The purpose of this investigation is basically to fulfill a promise to the American people that the candidate Trump made to basically look into these trade abuses, correct them, right, do smart new deals in a way which will basically put our people back to work and bring our factories back on shore.
So Peter, certainly trade deficits are something to take a look at. But as an economist, I'm sure you would agree that a trade deficit does not necessarily equate to unfair trade practices. There are lots of reasons you can have a trade deficit. So is it possible that at least some of these countries, you'll take a look at it and decide, you know what, it's for other factors, it's not because of unfair practices? Yeah,
that's a great question, and you're exactly right. I mean, take Canada, for example. We run a trade deficit in goods with them of over $10 billion, but a lot of that is driven by oil, energy, so no big deal there. On the other hand, we have other countries which are cheating us blind. We have also a systemic problem with our income tax system relative to the rest of the world, which runs on a VAT, which creates a disadvantage for us, for our country. So these are all the things we need to look at. Trade deficits aren't bad per se, but when you run a large and persistent trade deficit for as long as we have, it's basically a proxy for all of the job loss, the slow economic growth, the low wages that we've suffered over the last 15 years. And President Trump is going to deliver on this promise to turn that right around. And this is a big first step, and it is historic. No American president has ever looked at this problem and committed to solving it. And the Secretary of Commerce is going to deliver an historic report, and in 90 days, we're going to start moving.